There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Up here in the back cave. Was just watching a video from Darren Locke, my favorite music reviewer. He kind of only does prog and classic rock stuff, so you're not going to get a Tech 9 or anything review from him. But if you're into that kind of stuff, he's really good. He calls it like he sees it. And he was just talking about how Peter Gabriel has decided to release his new album piece by piece. And a new track will be coming out every full moon, which I thought was funny because it kind of goes along with what the stuff I've been doing about Peter Gabriel and his occultism. Kind of fits in with that, obviously. So every full moon, he's going to put out a new track from this album. So it's going to take him a year to release this thing. Now, he's been, it's been 20 years since his last studio album. I did a video last week where I went through it all. So, as far as I'm concerned, settled science. But, yeah, this is kind of bullshit. Like, it's kind of arrogant, and it has some. And he mentioned something about he's releasing it this way because of climate change. Pretty much, he's talking about how we're destroying the planet, and Darren rightfully pointed out we're not destroying the fucking planet. The planet's going to walk it off; it'll be fine. We may destroy ourselves, but there's nothing we can do to really hurt the planet. And you can fuck it up a little bit, but you're not going to destroy it. So, you know, it's kind of a bumming thing that he's doing the full moon thing, reminding you that he's an occultist, and then tying it to climate change. You know, I forget how he made it. He made it sound sort of like he's doing it this way because of climate change, which is, of course, your fault. He didn't say it's your fault, but, you know, I'm going to assume he feels it's our fault. But, yeah, I don't know. Will I show up every full moon to hear a new track? Yeah, of course. What am I going to do? Like I'm not going to listen to it? I'm going to wait till next year until it's all out and then, like, go through it? No, of course, like a sap, I'm going to show up every... Well, I'm not going to watch the fucking lunar calendar. I don't follow that stuff. I'm not a Satanist, not a witch. I like to keep tabs on those people, you know, because it's kind of my job. But I don't celebrate those kind of things. I don't save my kids in the basement until one of those moons come up before I eat them. You know what I mean? So, for me, it'll just be, I'll see it pop up on YouTube or YouTube Music or something. But, yeah, this is bullshit. I don't think it's done. You know, because he's notoriously slow with recording and releasing albums. The last one was 20 years ago for full studio albums. He's done stuff in between, as we talked about the other day. He's done a bunch of stuff, but nothing that's nearly as interesting to me as having a new studio album. He's released new studio songs for different projects. Some of them are okay. I'm Amazing, Party Man, a few others. It's not bad, but you really want that whole new album, like that whole statement. You know, it all kind of goes together. This dribbling it out, one track per full moon, is just arrogant, man. It's arrogant. But he doesn't, you know, he lives in a different world than we do. And, yeah, that just sucks. That idea is bad. And it kind of makes the album kind of review-proof, too. If he was to drop a new album, you'd get a lot of people reviewing it, especially on a place like YouTube. You know, you see that now. Like, anyone releases a new album, that Smashing Pumpkins album, that new one, a quarter of the content on YouTube over the past couple months has been reviewing that album, which is he's another one, that guy, Corgan. Does he think we're fucking stupid? Like, this new Pumpkins album is the third of a trilogy that started with fucking Melancholy. It's like the Rolling Stones coming out with a new album, like, and this will finally finish the epic story that was begun in Sticky Fingers and continued in Some Girls. I mean, you know, they're not that kind of band, but it's that kind of thing. It's like just out of nowhere, just saying, oh, all along this was one. No, it wasn't. Fucking liar. But anyway, everyone reviewed that album that has even a passing interest in music or a music kind of related channel. So, actually, he did kind of the same thing too. He was releasing one song at a time too, but it was a little bit more low key, and no one listened to it. It was through a podcast. So, for all intents and purposes, the album that he came out with was looked at as an album and reviewed that way. Most people shit on it because it's not good, but what this does, how Peter's doing it, is if you put the album out, everybody reviewed it. It's almost like how they put movies out with an embargo, where you can't review it until the day of release. It makes it kind of critic-proof. You know what I mean? Because by the time anyone's going to review the whole album, it'll be a year from now. You know, and at that point, people already have made up their mind about it, and it can only be looked at as like a modern review, or whatever the fuck they call those things when contemporary review, like a contemporary review of an older work. That's the only way it could be done. So it's kind of smart in that way, and I'm sure there's some kind of financial component to it as well. And the other thing is, I don't think the fucking album's done. I know how this guy works. He's endlessly tinkering probably with everything, and someone in his circle probably said, dude, just how long do you think you need to finish this with each song? He's probably like, well, at least a year. And they're like, well, how about this? We'll give you a month for each song. It's something like that. Because if it was done, if it was ready to go, what would be the reason to do it this way? Unless it's either not finished, or you're trying to avoid critical analysis, or you just want people to know that you're a creepy weirdo. I mean, we already knew that. So it's like it has to be one of the first, or perhaps there's some kind of, you know, financial component, or maybe he thinks he can get the most out of these songs if he gives people time to digest them, which is probably the only thing I'd give him. Because these days when a new album comes out, it's not like back in the day. A new album would come out, you know, back when I was a younger person. And you'd be like, oh, you'd buy one. You'd buy an album. It's like a purchase. You'd take it home. You'd go through it. You'd look at the credit. Well, a lot of us older people did. And you'd spend some time with the album, and you'd really get to hear the songs. Nowadays, like, I check new releases on Friday, and it's like, oh, I'll listen to that one. Oh, I'll listen to that one. And I just blow through them. And then kind of, even if I like an album, it's easy to forget it, you know, because I subscribe to a streaming service, so I just have endless stuff coming in. I don't collect anymore. But maybe it's something like that, like he gives people time to absorb the music, but I don't think he cares about that. I don't know. I bet I'll figure it out, though. Probably halfway through this. In 6 months, I'll probably have an answer for you. If this kind of mystery maintains my interest. But I've been deep diving a lot on the Genesis Peter Gabriel thing. I do that with bands a lot, where I'll listen to one for a long time, then kind of forget about them, then they come back, I'll listen to them again. But I've been looking into the occult ties this time with that band and the various members of it. just for fun. Like, this is like one of those fun horizontal pursuits that I sometimes like to take just to unwind, you know. So yeah, I'll keep abreast of the situation, but you should check out Darren's channel because it's funny. He's got that sort of dry kind of humor that usually doesn't translate that well on the internet. And I think a lot of people just think he's some kind of dick because of it. But, you know, fuck those people if they're too dumb to fucking understand what's happening. I know you'd get it, right? Because you're here. So, you'd like them. So check it out. I gotta go back to trying to figure out how to consolidate some room in here. Because that's about to become the Hot Wheels room. Priorities. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.